I remember you in the mountains.
Hey guys, Tyler here, and thank you for checking out this video. And as you can see, this is not a normal video here on my channel, and we are, after, I don't know, months and months of having little podcasts, if you will, in our guild Discord. I have got Zaft here and also Glitch, so beautiful Zaft down below here. Yes, thank you, thank you.
Hello.
And we have the wonderful Mr. OBS himself here, Glitchy.
Hello.
Like, hello, hi, how are you?
How's it going? Not a robot.
Definitely not a robot. Maybe we'll get a face reveal at some point. That would be interesting. Maybe. So much so that I don't even know what Mr. OBS looks like. Maybe in the future we'll just have to wait and see.
That's actually true.
I don't want to lie to him in the first episode. We'll save that for later.
That's for later, yeah. That's for Patreons, you know. That's their bonus.
You're giving me too many ideas already.
Get the truth. For $2 a month, you can get the truth.
That's right.
Let's not don't put a price on it yet. Come on. Anyway, we are going to have a brand new podcast. It may be something we do every week, maybe a couple times a patch. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see when we have something we want to talk about. What the heck, we'll probably make a podcast. But we went over different names here for our podcast, and we settled on In the Mountains.
In
You want
the
to do the thing?
mountains.
Yeah, there we go. And that is just one of those lines that is very, I don't know, very quotable. And we have, I'm sure you'll hear them throughout our podcast adventures. But the In the Mountains is something that we quote all the time. And you were like, well, what do we call the podcast? In the Mountains it is.
In the mountains.
But yes,
Yeah, that.
In the Mountains. So yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll see how this goes. Please leave us a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And we have one thing in mind today, and it's going to be, what do you guys want to see at Blizzcon?
The thing on everyone's mind.
Yes, we. I guess as of recording this, pull the shade back, if you will, pull the curtain back. We're about 3 or 4 days out from BlizzCon as of us recording this little video and this little podcast, and I'm really not sure what we're going to see. Like there was some interesting leaks. I don't know if you really want to take them at face value, if they're 100% true. They looked pretty interesting. I tried to not look at them though. But first volley for you guys. What do you guys think? What's the number one thing that you would like to see at BlizzCon this year?
I mean, we've been getting into like classic hardcore, and I want to see more stuff with the classic servers. I want to see. Because people are talking a lot about like Cataclysm Classic, and I think that's a decent idea, but like I think that they need to do more with it. I think that they like if they just come out and they just say that it's Cataclysm Classic, I'm just gonna be disappointed. But if they come out and they're like, all right, we're gonna have like Classic Era, and then we're also gonna have like Burning Crusade like servers and Wrath of the Lich King servers and Cataclysm servers, I think I'm hoping for that. That's what I'm personally hoping for.
Interesting. So right off the bat, like we could be talking about 11.0. You could do all this. Like you want to see something with classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I don't. I think I'm gonna have to throw the chair into the arena here. I don't think I want to see anything with classic except for one very specific area, and that is I think if they make just like you, I think if they make a Cataclysm Classic, that's a disappointment. I would be happy with Pandaria Classic, but I also think that that's not the way they should go. I really think, and I don't think they're gonna do this, but I really think they should make new classic stuff, new classic content. I think they need to. I think people are asking for that. I think people have gotten a taste of classic and been like, oh yeah, the rose-tinted goggles came off a little bit. It isn't how I remember, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all been hyper metagamed. The fun has been taken out of it. Are you feral? You need to farm that weapon in Omegon to play. Ha ha ha. You know, I really think they could revolutionize that portion of the community by making new classic content. It's a pipe dream, though. Like, let's be honest.
Well, you say that, but I mean, this time this time 2 years ago or during the pandemic, something like that, I would have been like, yeah, I don't think that like Classic Plus would be a thing. But I think we're as close to Classic Plus now as I think we ever could be.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know if that would mean. Well, obviously you couldn't have like a level increase. Duh. You don't want to do that. You don't want to take that away from players. Like getting up to 60, you won't be like, okay, you did this, and I'll just go a little further. But do you think that would entail like a new raid? Do you think they could implement like quest lines, quest areas that they just basically had to chop off in like going from vanilla to like BC or example? Do you think that that's the way they would go?
That's what I would do. Obviously, that's armchair development, right? But it would be interesting to see, you know, all the things that they've chopped off, like you said. And it also, now that you mention it, think of the hype. Like, think of the insane hype if we're going into 10.3, 10.2 Emerald Dream patch. And then at BlizzCon, they're like, by the way, Classic, you remember the Emerald Dream that we took out of vanilla? Here it is now. Can you imagine the hype? That would get me to play. I've barely touched Classic. That would absolutely get me in there.
So that would be very interesting because the Emerald Dream isn't like on Azeroth proper. You know, like it's not like
it's like another
going
plane.
from like yeah. Like it's not going like, oh, they're going to add Twilight Highlands on and like, this thing was here the whole time type thing. And that could allow them to not taint, Emerald Nightmare.
I got you.
But to not taint the way the world is, but still add more content.
Yeah.
And I would like to see, because I mean, most of the elemental planes are in WoW Classic. Like whether that be through obviously the Fire Lord and going into Molten Core. It's not necessarily going to that plane, but you're still dealing with that elemental lord.
Yeah, they got representation.
Yeah, definitely. And then you have what Thunderin, I think is his name. I've lost the
Thunderon, the Prince of Alakir.
I mean, because how many people actually get to see him in game? Very, very few.
Almost nobody.
Right. Unless you're the hunter like 4 expansions later, and then you're like, did somebody say Thunder Fury?
Yeah, you had to. I mean, if you were lucky to have bindings back then, right? First of all, you were lucky to be in a guild that was doing anything in vanilla. Well,
so fun fact on that, I actually, when we were doing Season of Mastery, the guild that we were in for a while, they actually had one of the bindings drop like
crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't know. Obviously, we didn't stick around long enough to figure out if they got the other binding. But yeah, like that's one of those things that even though it's quote easily accessible, it's just a quest line. Getting the items that start the quest line, maybe not so much. But I personally, I agree. I would like to see Classic Plus. And I kind of went down a rabbit hole not long ago, not necessarily prepping or anything like that. I don't remember the creator's name, so I'll put that information down in the description of the video, the videos I'm talking about. But it was all about things that were cut content from vanilla. Some of it was, that was added later, like Karazhan in BC and that sort of thing. But it would be very interesting to see, even if it was not a new raid, because I don't know if you put a new raid in, it kind of devalues Nax. So I don't know if they can put in a new raid, or at least the gear would have to be on par with Nax, I would say. But I would like to see lots of, you can flesh out more quest lines. You can visit some of these places that are really empty, like Silithus is very empty. I don't know how you would go about doing it, because like I said, it's an armchair development. I don't know how they can do that, but just putting more things in areas that don't have the things, or Hyjal is literally in the middle of the map. Maybe you don't have Battle for Mount Hyjal as a raid, but you have things that can happen there, or that could be the entryway there to the Emerald Dream, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like like if they keep making more classic servers or classic versions, which includes their own servers, right? I think they're segmenting the community more and more and more.
100%.
And they're getting to a point where classic vanilla was gonna be hit it out of the park, easy. BC, hit it out of the park, easy. Wrath, same thing. Kata, Pandaria, good, but the same as Wrath? I don't think so.
Yeah. I definitely think those old school classic you'll see a dip in Cataclysm. Even if they fix the problems of Cataclysm, let's say they do go in and they really do fix a lot of those problems, the cadence of raids, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I just think we now have hardcore, which Zaft and I have been pretty active on. Zaft more so than me. But like you said, you have one, and then you have BC that's still going on. Then you have Wrath that's still going on. If they do individual servers, you have your group of people that you've now cut into thirds, and then you've got the different servers, so then that kind of cuts everybody up a little bit. And then you've got the different servers for like difficulty, hardcore, non-hardcore, that sort of thing. And yeah, you're right, where you have your big player base, which I don't have any numbers to support this, but I would say classic numbers might be very close to retail numbers. We don't know, but like if you cut up retail like that, it would be a ghost town. It would feel like it already feels like that sometimes.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And
I don't think they would need I don't think they would need a lot of servers for each of them if they did it. We're talking like one or two. You know what I mean? Like a regular and then just like a PvP server. And then I mean if the call is that big, you throw in a hardcore server just for kicks and giggles, but that's only if people really want it. But like we know people who like they love Burning Crusade and they would only play Burning Crusade, and like that's fair. But I do agree that like when you get past a certain point, it does like you're just becoming granular for the sake of becoming granular. And like I look at like the WoW expansions in terms of like eras. So, like, I've been playing since Classic, and, like, Classic, Burning Crusade, and Wrath, I feel like they hold a lot of, like, those old-school Classic structures. So, like, having those as, like, an era, like, that makes sense to have servers on those. Whereas, like, Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, and then Warlords of Draenor was, like, a lot of innovation was going on. They were trying new things. It was, like, this weird rebirth, this weird renaissance for WoW, where stuff but they tried stuff and it sucked and it was bad, but they were like, we're gonna try, you know what I mean, we're gonna try player housing with garrisons. It didn't go over great, maybe we'll try it again better in the future. But like, they revamped talent systems, they created way more like class race specializations in Cataclysm. They the introduction of a neutral race, that was like very innovative, and that's worked, right? So like these things have worked for that era, or these things may or may not have worked, and like, but that era is just different than the old school. Because that's like prior to like quest reworks and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is interesting now that you talk about eras, how there is a distinct eras, and I think you hit it right on the head. You have the main game plus the first two expansions, so the first three, and then you have Cataclysm. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So I've broken it up where it's those first series, that's the classic era. Cataclysm, Mop, and Draenor is like WoW Renaissance, and then after Draenor is Legion. Legion, BFA, and Shadowlands, which is the era of AP. So that's where your artifact, artifacts, Azerite, and anima powers all come in. Which is
borrowed power.
Yeah, this borrowed power system. And now that we're in Dragonflight, it's interesting that we're getting now that I've started to see the game like that, like looking and being like, okay, well, what is this era going to bring? Like, what are the next couple expansions? Are we still going to hang on to that mold? Are we still going to see those same patterns? And if not, like, what's going to happen? Like, what's going on?
I think we're making all new patterns right now.
I think so. No, I agree. And this is at the time when we would be making these new. This is a new era of WoW.
Yeah, and if this is the start of a new era, then hot damn, keep it coming. You know what I'm saying?
It's looking real good.
It's looking real good. They have thrown us some curveballs that I can't believe they threw.
Mm-hmm. And it's nice that I think overall things have been going very well, like you said. There are things that haven't worked. For example, something we could probably talk about in a later podcast. But like with Mythic Plus, how they you know what, we always have a seasonal affix, but maybe this seasonal affix isn't as good. So now we're gonna, you know what, in the middle of an expansion, we're not waiting till the next one to try something new. We're like, you know what, you're right. Let's give it a shot, and they try something new. Whether that be no affixes, whether that be the way going away from Valor into dragonflight stones and all that stuff. Like, that is moves that Blizzard doesn't often make, particularly in this last phase, if you will.
Yeah,
so definitely a good thing.
If I had to give a name to the Legion BFA Shadowlands era, it would be formulaic. They stuck to a formula, and it maybe was not the best thing to do.
Just called it something new and kept the same initials.
I think it worked sometimes, and then it got tired after a while.
It started with promise, then it kind of wobbled a little bit.
Yeah. It did feel like, oh, you know, everything that you're doing, like with the AP, like everything you're doing, whether you're doing islands or you're doing your world quests in Legion, like, was progressing your character to, like, you're going to get stronger, but then you get to this point where you're like, I have to do like hardcore grinding for 0.5% more damage, and it's going to take me 3 weeks to get there. And then you have half the game going, well, you don't need to do that, or like 95% of the game is like, well, you don't actually have to do that. And there's this little sliver that's like, no, I do.
Farm the Azerite.
The thing that drove me up a wall was going through questing as a prop paladin and then getting to raid and being like, you gotta be Rhett, I don't know what to tell you. And I put on my my garbage Ashbringer that's like level 1 Azerite power, and I'm like, I felt like I was like re-leveling like two-handed weapon specialization.
Sure.
I'm just like myth.
Hey, we need
your Ashbringer right here.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like.
We need you to flex into this role. Do you have any Azerite with, Breaker of Dawn? What of Dawn? I don't have
exactly.
I guess I better go run something to get a blue one with one ring, with one slot.
That was a problem.
It was kind of frustrating to see. I know it's not 1-to-1, but I felt like there were mistakes that they made with Legion legendaries or Legion artifacts that they fixed. And then Legion ended, and they were like, "Hey, here's Azerite," and they had the same mistakes, just different flavor, maybe at most.
Yeah.
And then they fixed them, and it felt okay, maybe not great, but okay, it's usable. And then we moved into Shadowlands, and LOL conduits. Like, are you kidding me? That was frustrating.
But also worse, because it was like, do you want to be good at your class, or do you want to play do you want to be in the covenant that you like?
Yeah.
Well, and they were so adamant that wouldn't happen. They were so adamant, and then
and then it made it even worse by let's just say like you're a prot paladin main, but you have to flex. Well, you're stuck in that covenant. What's worse is when you want to play only marksman or only boomkin or only ret paladin, but you want a PvP. Well, guess what? PvE and PvP have their polar opposites. Like, if I go into Night Fae and play and throw that wild spirits on the ground, what are you as an enemy gonna go? No, I'm gonna go over there now. And then all my damage is on the ground. Like, stuff like that is just like, you didn't learn.
Yeah, they didn't.
PvE across the board, Maldraxxus was often Necrolord was the worst. It was bottom of the barrel for Paladin until you got into PvP. Big Fleshcrafts and Vanquish Hammer did big damn.
To be fair, disclaimer, I don't PvP almost at all. Don't kill me, YouTube. But to be fair, it does feel like they at least try to get the outliers quickly, like this time around. I'm not saying they do it quick enough, but quicker than they used to. We've seen like a raid launches and trinkets get nerfed very quickly for PvP, or things get tuned very quickly, let me stop saying very quickly. Quicker than normal.
Yeah.
It is anticipated. I feel like for like when season 2 came out, it in previous expansions it was almost like a given that it was like, oh, the best trinket from last tier's raid is still BIS for you until you get the heroic version of the new really cool trinket. I feel like you say that a little bit less. Like even when like the MDI was going on, people were using, like for season 2, people were still using the mythic Dathia trinket, but that was a mythic Dathia trinket in MDI. You know what I mean? You're like, that's like, they're doing insane stuff. You can get away with doing plus 20s without that.
Now that being said, I don't want to scare you, but a lot of people on the PTR right now are using the new stat trinket from the new raid and the old stat trinket from Avarice, the chromatic essence. So.
Yeah, because they nerfed it by 5%.
5%. Whoa!
They gutted my trinket from Neltharion, but they nerfed the other one 5%.
Taking away my beacon.
How dare you? Oh, I just realized both the trinkets I used got. Well, Beacon didn't get as heavy of a nerf as Neltharion's The Call to Dominance. Got nerfed by. It's the duration's 50% or 100% longer, but it only gives you 50% value. I'll still probably use it.
In the gamers rise up, we get a new one.
Yeah,
the power of the sun in our hands. No, yeah, there's a badass trinket. It's Beacon-esque. It's not Beacon, but you know.
Well, you know me. Whenever I try to stay story spoiler free whenever we're doing stuff on PTR, and I tend to stay in my lane with marksman. And if it's not has anything to do with marksman, then I'm probably not looking at it. Not because I don't want to, but my minimal time requires me to focus on the one thing. So that would be very interesting to see these, like, I don't know, sunbeams from the sky, like you're summoning Ra himself. Oh yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty slick trinket for AoE damage. It's you'll see it. I don't want to spoil it.
I hope so. I'm sure we have a bunch of.
I hope it's good.
See, that's the thing. You find items that you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great, and then you find out it's just not tuned well enough.
Yeah.
You're like, this would be great, but it just doesn't do the thing that I needed to compared to X, Y, Z, and A or whatever over here.
That's fair.
Yeah. So okay, so back to the original question here. So we went on a tangent. We'll do that a lot.
We'll do that, yeah.
What?
Never.
Us?
We
Never.
need
what?
No.
We need like a tangent sound button, you know?
Right.
Maybe like Phoenix Wright style.
Where's the
Yeah, right.
We'll get the tangent zone background from that Brian David Gilbert video.
Yeah. So what we need is a fourth person in the call that stays muted and then just hit the button, like starts playing the music for the Oscars. Like
roll. Yep.
I think Brandon will do that for us.
He may. We'll have to ask. So we've talked about what we want to see a little bit in BlizzCon. So believe it or not, what I thought we were going to say maybe second, third, or fourth was Classic Plus, and it sounds like I would be in agreement. I would like to see some form of Classic Plus, as long as they don't mess with what makes Classic classic. Like as in, like don't increase your level cap. Don't do that. You can introduce things that were in BC, maybe use some sort of BC asset so it keeps that classic look. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if I saw some orcs running around from Dragonflight in classic, I'd immediately be like, nope. It could have the best story, and I'm like, nope.
Casually introduce borrowed power to classic.
Oh God. Oh, the one thing I had actually wrote a note. I didn't write many notes, but I wrote one. I would love to see them add a new race to classic. Unpopular opinion. I would love to see ogres.
Oh, okay.
I want to see
unpopular.
well, To
We
some
were gonna
people, it
get
might.
Ogres in BC.
Well,
Come on, Blizzard.
I want to be one of those fertility ogre things, and I I want to run around with my bow and shoot people and take names.
Not that
That's
you're gonna
it.
say bow.
Yeah, I know.
All right, relax. It's a mace.
You said the fertility ogres. Those things got
Well,
bazoongas.
So does
Also.
their little item picture too. So
It's their new ranged weapon. Sorry.
It's like the item that knocks you off your mountain in game right now.
They also get extra bag space like the Volpera.
Yeah.
But it's just called where are they keeping this, and they just never.
Yeah, I can get behind that. That sounds like a good passive.
They just never talk about it.
Speaking of, just hit the tangent button. Speaking of, speaking of,
hit the button.
Speaking to two people that are extreme collectors, you guys know there's a title for knocking people off your dragons in Dragonflight.
Yeah, but I've not actually ventured into war mode.
It's badass. It's Sky Scourge.
Yeah, I think Tenur has that.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to Tenur.
Dude has been
What's he doing?
Like a beast.
What's he doing hanging out with us? Maybe with Greeley. All right. Sorry, Zaft.
I don't know about that.
PvP.
I've been in war mode for like all of 20 minutes, and that was trying to get those ire plants on Mechanome.
Yeah.
And I paid for that with my life.
I try to be a prop paladin in PvP. It hasn't worked in like a decade. I don't.
Maybe it'll be different 11.0, right?
I don't know.
Right.
Disclaimer: we don't PvP. If you are a PvPer that are watching / hearing this, please let us know how wrong we are in the comments below.
It's so crazy to think. Speaking of that, I used
just
to
yell
only
at
PvP.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put us in our place. It'll be fine. I used to only PvP, and now I rarely PvP.
Yeah.
I finally got to see what Mythic Plus and have a guild that actually wants to bring me to raid.
The hardest I've ever gone in PvP was like classic World of Warcraft because I really wanted a saber mount, but I really didn't want to have to get exalted with Darnassus. So I just did a bunch of PvP until I had the Black Knight saber, and then I got the rest of them because I was like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, you're at that point, might as well.
That was my first introduction to collecting, was getting those.
So speaking of collecting, tangent button again.
Tangent.
Beep, 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 beep.
Tangents.
I wasn't a collector until really like to where I am now, until like middle of BFA. Because had I have been the collector, yeah, I know that sounds weird. I would have never taken a break after we killed Argus on got AOTC, because there was way too much time to do basically anything I wanted to do. I needed that break for me, but the character Greeley is very mad at me still. There were so many things I could have done.
Yeah, you missed.
Like, look at all that PvP honor ranks and all this other stuff.
All
but
the
yeah,
marks
like,
of honor. I
Yep.
wanted them.
To give people an idea, when we're like talking about like collecting mounts, as of right now, recording of this, I have
Don't rub it in my face.
779 mounts.
2 more than me.
To Greeley's 7. Yeah, but you got the you got the time walking one, and I missed out on 2 weeks of it like an idiot.
I got 500.
I won't be able to get it this time around.
I have mounts.
Wait. I don't have you. I don't have you on bookmarked.
So Glitch may not have as many mounts, but I'm telling you, he's got some rare ones.
He's got some rare ones. He's sitting at 521. Which, by the way, if you're sitting there and you're like, man, I have like 100 mounts, there's no way I can call myself. You are a collector. You're a collector.
Yeah.
Everybody starts with 1 mount.
Yeah. If you enjoy doing it and you're proud, guess what?
That's all that matters.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Homeboy's got some. I mean, you have a Swift Zephyr and an X53, which is 2 mounts I do not have.
And soon I will have that Goblin Golem thing from Recruiter Friend.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited.
And a camel.
Maybe.
That I know that you really want.
Yeah, that camel. I don't know. Just let him hang out. Yeah.
Asked us earlier. It's like, it's like, oh, how do you guys really want that camel? And we're like, I was like, it's a +1. It is
+1.
It is one more mount. Doesn't matter. It could literally be a stick.
Yeah.
Slap
wait,
some
hold
armor
on.
The
Let's
mount
not.
this month was a broom.
Yeah, let's not say that because the stick was super cool. That mount is cool.
Oh,
If you haven't gotten it, by the way, you got a day.
I'm talking
Yeah,
like
oh God.
old Blizz Blues, like put a shield on a log, and I will ride that around.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, because it's paladin themed. It's got a shield.
I only
Of
ride
course.
paladin themed mounts.
Right. All right, so we have Classic Plus is what we want to see. That is what we want to see at BlizzCon, I guess.
Well, one of the things.
Yeah, one of many.
Do
Do you guys think we're going to see a 10.3? Do you? I'm
No.
curious.
BlizzCon? Or just
Okay,
in general?
no asterisk. I'll let Zaf go first.
No. Like, do we mean like, do we think that Dragonflight is gonna have a 10.3?
Yeah. Do we think that there will be? And then you can answer it in two different ways as well. Do we have a faded tier 4, like a tier or season 4, or do we have a new raid? You can pick one of those, or you can say no, and that we go to 11.0. I'm curious.
I kind of want to say that there is going to be a 10.3 as like our 4th season, but that it will be kind of like almost like a little like wrap up, you know, like you know, you got your faded stuff going on. I think that they learned a little bit from the end of Shadowlands, and I have the inkling that they want to do something close to it again. Maybe not the exact same, but I think that they're like, this sort of worked. Let's try something, and they're going to use it as an opportunity to test and tool around things. So yes, but not like brand new raid. We're gonna fight. What's his name? Big
Ron.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's gonna be like a raid. But if there is a raid that has him in it and that is centralized in it, we're not gonna beat him up. It's gonna be like get him down to 80% health, and then he kills us
away.
and tries to absorb us with his sword, and he doesn't drop his mount. That's what I'm expecting.
I want the mount to drop.
No, he's not gonna drop.
I'm 0 for 2 on Dragonfly appearances from end bosses. Bummer.
I hate that they made the one from Sarkareth such a lower drop chance.
Yeah,
I felt like from what's her name? What was her name?
Razageth.
First of all, Razageth. Thank you. I feel at least like one person got it usually every week. Not all the time, but at least we were seeing it. Where maybe I was just missing the raids. I think we only saw it once.
I think we only have the one person with it. I think I know Twisted has it. I think he's the only one.
And that's the one.
I'm pretty sure he's the only one. Which is unfortunate.
Crazy, particularly how many times we were killing him.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of a bummer.
It is kind of a bummer. Sorry, I tangent! Appearances! Sorry.
Never before seen.
No, but I wholeheartedly agree with Zaft. What I want and what I would love to see in BlizzCon is surprise big 10.3 in 6 months or whatever, right? And I'm talking the whole kit and caboodle. New raid, new zone, going to void area, MacGuffin land with Iridicron flying around, breathing earth, void earth on people instead of void fire or instead of Shadowflame. I would love that.
Okay.
That's not happening. It's not. I say it's not like I know anything about anything. Whatever. Make fun of me in the comments later if you feel like it.
I will.
Yeah, no, please. I mean, I know you will. That's a given, Mr. Zaft. But it's why you're here. Don't worry about it. But no, I think what's gonna happen is what Zaft said. I think we're gonna get a faded season. They learned some things from last one. I think if they do the same exact Fated season, we're in trouble.
I will be so disappointed.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I think right now I am less hesitant than I would have been in the past to give Blizzard some rope here. I think they got some good ideas coming. I think if it's a Fated season, it's going to have some fun. I will be mildly disappointed to not get my, whopper of a 10.3 patch. But it will still probably be fun and playable, and I don't know. It'll probably not be called Fated, but it'll be the same idea.
Yeah. That's fair.
But yeah.
So I'm kind of on the I think there'll be a 10.3. I like you said, Glitch. I hope it is something new. I would love to see a 4 raid expansion again. And I bet Iridicron will not be the final. Like, we will not kill him this expansion.
Yeah.
So if there is another raid,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
he is. I don't know. I don't want to use the term he's an interesting character because we don't still know a lot about him. But he and Farak are interesting. And if Farak is the last boss, then fine. I think other than Iridicron, he's probably the right choice.
Yeah.
So they would be ending like storyline wise well, or if they wanted to do, part of it for me is Mythic Plus oriented as well. So that's something that we've really been pushing ourselves as a guild this expansion, and we'll talk about this actually in the next podcast. I'm kind of like talking about thoughts on season 2. For our next topic, and also you guys can let us know if there's something topics you guys would like to hear us talk about. Please leave them down below. We'll put an email down there. You can email us questions about various things as well. But I want to see a season 4. I want to see we pushed and we did our keys in season 1. We really pushed, and it was very noticeable. And it wasn't the usual suspects the whole time. It wasn't just we've got 5 people and that's it. Like, we've got people that are, kicking the tires, getting Keystone Master for the first time, Keystone Hero for the first time, and I would love to see. Through this new in season 3, we've already seen all the dungeons. I'm kind of on a lot of them, but I'm still going to do it. Still going to try to get my portals, and still going to continue to try to push myself on my hunter. Let alone what everyone's going to be doing on their own individual characters, or in Glitch's case, multiple characters probably.
Yeah,
he really does fill in a lot for us, which we are very appreciative, by the way.
Yeah,
but we are not going to get to see all the dragonflight dungeons together. I that's the thing I liked. I Faded as a cool idea, and it was fun to go back and go to these raids again when you're stronger. You have your character is stronger. You have they had tweaked a little bit of the stuff in Shadowlands to where you could switch freely between covenants and stuff like that. The quality of life had went up, so then you get to see these tired bosses, but with a fresh coat of paint, I guess you could say. But we haven't got to see all of the dungeons together, and I think that Dragonflight has some really fun dungeons. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this. After this season, really enjoy Brackenhide. I don't know about you guys.
No. Yeah. I liked Brackenhide.
No, dude, Brackenhide is a slapper. It was rough coming in. But when I didn't like it eventually.
It was tough. It was a puzzle to figure out because the trash is so it's so verbose. There's so much trash. We'll do 20s of it, and we'll be like, and I'll still be like, I don't even know if I've pulled the correct amount of things because it feels like an actual organism. Yeah.
Admittedly,
go on. No, you go.
No, just admittedly, a little bit of that is because of the nerf to the plants that gave. So that threw a wrench in the works, and we tend to fly by the seat of our pants when it comes to that type of thing sometimes. Hey, we got it done. It works.
I thought you were gonna be like. I thought you were gonna be like, you know what? By the end of it, I really love Ruby Life Pools.
God no! Why?
Nope.
So I made a pact that if we would, because we had a bunch of 18s and 19s in Ruby Life Pools for season 1. I told them, if we can get this into 20 and we can time it, we are never doing this crap again. And I hold to that. What was the Grimrail Depot, last
That was
expansion.
the same
I
one.
told them when I get a 20, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. Is it a 13? Okay, we can go do that. No. Oh, we're gonna do this 18. Cool, not with me or not.
Yeah.
I think
So I would hold true with that with Ruby Life Pools.
Zaf, did we end up doing more than 120 Ruby Life Pools though to help somebody get a
yeah, we
portal
did.
or?
Yeah,
We definitely did.
I don't remember if I was a part of that one or not.
No,
I
you
think I
were.
was healing for a few of those. What a nightmare! Oh my
yeah.
god, that was as Druid,
Yeah.
which was absolutely blasting during that time.
Right.
Yeah. No, I would love to see. I agree that like that there should be a season that like just has just Dragonflight dungeons, just the Dragonflight.
Especially since season 1 didn't like in Shadowlands, season 1 was all of them, and then they added the mega dungeon eventually until you have your set of 10. I think that makes sense. But then when they started with the mixing and matching right away, I mean, they had a pretty good pool to pick from.
Yeah.
Like for old dungeons, and in season 2 I think they did a pretty good job. Unfortunately, that means that season 3 is kind of a little I don't know about all these.
I want to get into like a deep dive of season 3 in our next episode,
we definitely will.
We can save it.
I think that we are accustomed to other than Warlords, we're accustomed to like a 4, maybe not a 4 raid, but a 4 patch cycle, 4 season cycle. I think that fits really well for the time frame of getting in and out of an expansion in like 2 years roughly. Because I guess we're what? Are we a full year in?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we're a full year in now.
Oh yeah, we are.
So, like you said, like if 10-3 in 6 months, that would actually fit. So you have 10-2 would be a 6 month ish, maybe a little bit less, I don't know. And then you have boom, your 10.3, and then with all the information for 11.0, because we definitely know we'll see something for a new expansion. Will it be the full reveal, the full Monty? I don't think so. At least not like fully fleshed out.
The 28th will be a year.
The 28th will be a year. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. Okay. But I definitely think that if we're going to get a 10.3, it should be very polished and be like, hey, this is maybe not polished, maybe that's not the right word, depending on what it is, of course, but like done, like this is what we're doing, this is when you can expect it, and then here comes 11.0, and then so you're going to have not only a potential 10.3 hype train, which hopefully they would continue to build on what's worked in season 1, 2, and hopefully season 3, and continue to cut off and prune what doesn't work. They've been doing a pretty decent job, a pretty good job. I'll give them their credit.
Yeah,
they've done a lot to help themselves in the eyes of players, I would say, this expansion. Even if it ends here, I think they've done a pretty good job, and I can't wait to see what they're going to build on for 11.0. But we'll have, if there's going to be a 10.3, they'll have to tell us at BlizzCon, and have to give us a pretty good time frame. We'll get some good information, get a title of an expansion, get some, this is going to be, oh, we're doing player housing again, or we're getting full reworks. Like, I as someone who plays a class who probably needs a rework,
again.
I know, and I wouldn't say, I say my class probably needs one. I say it all the time in my videos for Marksman Hunter. The building blocks have been there for 3 expansions, but they keep picking the wrong pieces, and then it makes it clunky, not fun, not engaging, and then the average player is like, well, I'm going to go play Beast Mastery because it's easier. Not to say that, oh, lol, it's easy, but like, oh, it's easier to pick up and play and do well, so I'm going to play this, or I'm going to play Survival because it's new, it's got, it's a different flavor, it's different, it's not the same tired things for the last 3 expansions. So I would like to see some, even if it's not Hunter, I would love for it to be, but I would like to see some class reworks, like, hey, on the horizon, we've got class reworks coming. Some of these older classes are going to get more options, more customizations. Like, I think they would do like a world revamp for 11.0, lol, what sword, that sort of thing. Like, let's get some real stuff going on here, and then see some class reworks and see more customization, because still haven't unlocked all my Draenei customizations, but everything they've done so far, I've thoroughly enjoyed. Horde, Alliance, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but
they've had. We were talking about like how like if in 6 months they're putting out a new thing. I just want to say like even if that's the timeline, this has been probably one of the most action-packed, non-stop kind of expansions that like has just been content after content. Even like the stuff like Emerald Dream, and then prior to that, Time Rifts, and prior to that, and like sometimes it feels like it's going a little too fast, but like the thing,
especially from the collector point of view.
From the collector point of view, absolutely. But like practically, because like I'm sitting there and I'm like, crap, like there's stuff in the vault that I could technically go back and get some achievements that I'm missing here and there, but like practically it's like, no, this is great for somebody who's who maybe just came back and they are trying to gear up quickly. Oh, they have like this brand new event that everybody's doing. To do that, do you have to go back and do Time Rifts and Zeralek Caverns and Forbidden Reach also? Absolutely not. You don't have to step foot in any of those places.
Yeah.
You can just jump.
I do appreciate that they did that, where you didn't have to do the things that came before it.
Yeah.
Oh god, just think if you had to go back. Most people, like, the Reach wasn't a bad thing, but I'm hard pressed to find people who go back there unless they're collecting something.
Yeah,
like they're just like, no.
And
so that's what I'm doing. That's
it's out of the way. Even Zeralek Caverns, which is literally underneath the Dragon Isles, still feels out of the way.
Like, oh, I had to fly all the way over there. Okay.
Yeah,
definitely.
So like, I appreciate even as a collector, I can appreciate the amount and the speed of which that stuff's coming out. Because like even if I miss stuff now, I can always go back next expansion and just
sure.
tear through.
I mean, how many expansions have we been working on previous expansion stuff? We knock more stuff off every like. This is the week we didn't end up getting to do it, but this is the week we could have been doing Ashran Classic, where we could have went back and been working on our achievements and stuff like that.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh dang, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but this
we'll
happens,
get it next time.
This happens like 1 out of every 3 Ashran Classics. The 3 of us actually are like, all right, we're doing
Nemesis Quest, go.
Yeah. And we bang out like at least
we've got a full achievement every time.
Yeah. We've gotten a couple of them done and like complete, and now we're like getting down to like Pandarans and Night Elves and stuff, and the ones that really suck.
Yeah, we're narrowing it down to the tough ones.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But even those, like, they're going, but like, it's pretty normal for us to like miss 1 or 2 and then be like, okay, we're definitely doing it this week.
Yeah.
And then we get to like a Monday, like a couple months later, where we're like, oh, that was this week. Well, oops.
Get it next time.
Busy doing other stuff.
Well, I'm telling you, life always happens right when we're like, we're gonna do this thing, whatever the thing is in life. It's like, no. That sounds about right.
That's why we're recording this today instead of a week ago. The
exact
same situation came up.
We've been talking about doing a podcast for the better part of a month or even longer, and it's just I did this thing called getting married and all that fun stuff, which ate up a lot of my time, and then life happens for everybody else, and the next thing you know, it's the week of BlizzCon, and we're like, so what are we going to talk about?
Like, we should probably mention this.
Do this real quick.
This one has a time, like it's going to expire here soon.
And then
I guess.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's one thing, and he would be so upset if I didn't say it. What I hope to see at BlizzCon, for Nerfo's sake, is at least
read the prompt.
I know. Say it. Okay, so it says, for Nerfo, please, for the love of God, have a 3rd Demon Hunter spec. Okay, so I said
it. Nothing, not gonna happen.
Gunslinger.
We fleshed it out. It's Gunslinger. They can gun drops or a Warglaive drops. You split it in 2, you're done. And
That's
then
right.
Just Gunslinger. That's
2
it.
guns.
Moving along.
Gunslinger.
If you don't know what we're talking about, look at Hearthstone's patch or expansion.
Right.
Excuse me. There you go.
Right. Yeah. For his sake, I hope. I want good things to happen with Demon Hunter. I know sometimes it's in a weird spot and they're getting some sort of reworks of some
Oh,
description.
don't you worry. When the patch drops, DH will be having no problems at all.
Yeah,
Don't you worry.
So we can just get him on there, get his confidence back up on his DH, and then he won't need a third spec. But if anybody gets a third spec, I hope it's Demon Hunter.
What's gonna happen is our next show.
The only one who can get a third spec.
Our next show is gonna be we have our special guest here, Nerfo, the Cinderella story of from not having played the game to now doing 25s.
Top DPS.
How does it feel? Yeah, DH.
Feels great.
DH and the PTR. My God, I won't dwell on it, but oh man.
Yeah. And then everybody else is looking at Marksman, and they're like, rework. Oh, I did look at Max's. I don't ever look at people's tier list, but somebody shared it with me on my Discord, and he officially put Marksman in the needs developer attention section with Elemental. I was like, oh God, that bad, huh?
Oof.
I didn't think it's that bad, but if that's what that's what the big dogs are saying, well, I'm like, uh-oh.
What did they put it with, Ellie?
Yeah, it was literally, it was like God tier A, B, C, D all the way down, and then it goes to D, and then there's just like 2 slots, and then it's Ellie in Marksman. They're like,
Oof.
Needs developer attention.
Ellie was so close. I tried their tier set when they first put it out there on the PTR. Oh man, it was so much fun. It was also busting.
Weren't you blasting?
Blasting, absolutely shredding, and just, it was so fun. It was so much fun, but it was also extremely overpowered.
Yeah, see that seems to be what happens. And again, I look at the game through Marksman lens. You get a point where at the very beginning of Shadowlands, when my channel grew the most it ever has in one go round, it was because Marksman was legit S tier broken. And then they just like, oh, you're here, well, you're just gonna like just completely just rip everything off
Take
that
him
was
out back.
OP, and then next thing you know, you're in C or D tier. Do I think Marksman's ever in C or D tier? No. I would still put us in a B tier now, but I'm also very biased because I'm going to play it regardless if it's good or not. Hello, BFA Marksman Hunter.
Hello, BFA Boomkin.
Mm-hmm. Good times.
Until that one Azrite trait came out, and then it was good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Amazing. Always been.
You're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Being a tank is great.
And just think, once you get your shield legendary,
when I finally get my shield legendary,
all the warriors will be great, and you'll be kind of like
that's the real wish list for.
Let's talk about that real quick, all right? If you don't mind me, if you don't mind me taking over the show host.
Away.
As not one, not two, but 3 classes that, at least for our main raid spec, will not be seeing a hint of that legendary. How's it feel? The fact that we have so many necros on warriors and odd wins on paladins that are gonna be like, ha, here it is. How's it feel?
Oh, the 2-hander.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not mad.
What about you?
Disappointed.
Who's co-tanking? Is Barry coming back to DK tank? Because if he's coming back to DK tank, then I think it's Druid Bros. I think it's for a while it's gonna be Brewmaster Druid, and then I guess maybe it'll still be Brewmaster Druid, but it won't be me on the Druid. I don't know. Who's there? Druid? Who's tanking on Druid?
Barry. He might be on. He might be on the Druid. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
by the way, he's getting geared. He's like 430 something, and he just started playing. Yeah,
I believe that. But because that's Barry.
But let me give you my take on it real quick, right? So I as both of you know, I was planning to play Ogvoker or just Evoker this next raid, and since we need a tank, I'm probably just gonna stay on my Druid, just for consistency's sake, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I was staring down the barrel of not getting my claw this patch, going to the next patch that was Druid themed with Druid filling and Druid flakes on Druid flavor, and I kept thinking to myself, if they give Druids a legendary that I will also not get,
Oh.
So let me tell you, when they said two-handed axe, I was like, oh my god, yes. I don't care. You can have it. I don't want it. Get that away from me. I'm actually genuinely happy that they get a nice big weapon and I don't have to give an F about it.
Yeah.
I'll
so
be
happy
to see how hard or easy it is to get.
Yeah.
Well, so it just, from what I understand, you finish it off with a quest line.
I hope so.
That'll be interesting. I haven't done too much research because I try to keep that stuff secret.
Yeah.
But it's just like you kill him on like get AOTC or get cutting edge, and it starts a quest line, and the quest line is how you kind of like how the quest line with the Fireland staff, but not something that you collect. Like you collect a million things over 100,000 weeks, and then get it for 1 week.
So don't worry too much about. Go ahead.
What is this?
Don't worry too much about like not having looked it up. There is very small amounts of information out there.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing that.
There is one thing that they did reveal is somebody found like strings for items, kind of like when you make the claw, where you have to make like Jewel Crafter does this thing.
Yeah.
I think Zaft, you made something else, right? Like NG does this thing.
Yeah.
I think something similar is happening. But there's so little information on this two-handed. So we'll see. My God, we're gonna have what, 4 of these? 5 in raid? If I include
everybody gets one.
What? So Pinoy, Odwin are 2 warriors. That's already 4. Who am I missing? Zaft is gonna want it.
I'll get it.
I know that's kind of not like a full one, but I mean we're gonna get it for him. Do we have any other main I'm not thinking about?
Very hard to get that. Unless
when I play survival, I'll get one. Right?
Yeah.
Hunter weapon.
Yeah. Hunter weapon. All loot is hunter loot. That's right.
Yeah.
You've gotten enough legendaries. That's enough out of you.
I haven't got one in so long.
Oh my God. Jeez.
You know how many chains I had to lag through to get that legendary?
Oh my God.
I went back and watched that video not long ago.
How many
anyway.
phantasmal rock bridges you had to cross to try and get no thanks.
Twice a week for drip my mouth a little bit.
Don't worry, I mean I'm feeling it right now, all right? I don't have a claw yet, so if people keep telling me, oh no, the claw will get replaced by a very high iLvL weapon. I don't have a high level weapon. We're not until we're doing 20s. It's gonna be a while.
Right.
Just like, I mean, just log in. Let's do heroic. Like, what are you talking about? Stop being like this.
I'm trying.
Not you.
Exactly.
No,
Not
I
you.
know.
Everybody else doesn't show up for it.
You hear that? Other guild members listening to this right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Show up to.
I'll be sure and tag everybody.
Okay.
Like I'll share it in Discord.
Hashtag one more claw.
Start it this time.
I've started bidding away your spot.
Dun dun dun. But I honestly think, regardless of what they bring out at BlizzCon, I think this is going to be a good BlizzCon. They've set themselves up, and I know our whole shtick here is WoW. So we talked about what we say at BlizzCon. We haven't talked about D4, StarCraft not getting anything because why?
Woo!
But
I'm waiting for Heroes of the Storm update.
I know.
Okay, hold on. Wait.
They're actually. I'll get myself
They just released a huge bug fix patch for Heroes.
Interesting.
And a lot of people are going, chin scratch.
So
you could see me.
Xbox is over here going, huh?
Yeah.
You have this like MOBA that people might like, huh? That has still a very like, not everybody likes Heroes of the Storm, but people who do, they like it.
Yeah.
And I have to say, when I was just doing the Flame Saber quest like 2 years ago now with Nerf, I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing it. I'm all for it. They haven't killed the thing. I mean, they've done everything but they haven't killed it. So to tie it all up, nice little bow. Blizzard has put themselves in a really good position for this BlizzCon to have big things happening.
Yeah.
Like 10-3, cool. If it happens, it's not going to diminish BlizzCon at all. This is the BlizzCon where you're going to see big WoW information, but it's been built on, they've been building players' trust back up, which I'd say it's probably been the highest as it been in 2 expansions, easily. You're showing that you're willing to make changes, to don't just go with the flow, go with the status quo that they have been. They've been adding more customizations, and customizations in games like Baldur's Gate 3 are a huge thing. Like, players want to feel like, yes, this is my character. And they're positioning themselves for not just one game. You can bring in more information on D4. I know that they're not anywhere close to an expansion for D4, but you're already like you're taking steps towards these big reveals for other games. You have the Xbox acquisition is now a thing officially with Activision Blizzard. So then you can have Heroes of the Storm could make a triumphant return. Just think if at this BlizzCon they could, in theory, talk about a new expansion, and if it's dwarf themed, hell yeah. Like, let's see it. Let's go. Especially if they've been planting the seeds for several expansions and putting little breadcrumbs in as we continue to go, I'm all for that. If we see something with Classic Plus, that's another huge home run, assuming they don't mess with the formula for Vanilla Classic too much. Yep. And then on top of that, you bring Heroes of the Storm in, saying, hey, by the way, we're doing this thing. That would blow the roof off of that place.
Absolutely.
And that's just for 3 games.
Yeah.
Actually, like 2, technically. But either way, I'm excited. I'm just excited.
No, excellent. What are we looking at for time? Because we have a question from the audience.
Are we doing questions?
We
have a question.
It's related.
Okay, we have a question. Let's hear it.
All right.
Audience viewer number 1.
Audience viewer. Okay, so the question goes. This is the email that I received. I said, I think WoW for consoles is within the realm of possibility now more than ever, with Xbox owning Blizzard, Xbox doing a partnership with the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy XIV. My long shot prediction for BlizzCon is that. So this isn't more of a question. This is more of like a statement we're just going to discuss.
Okay. That's why we're talking about it.
Is a prediction for BlizzCon that WoW will be announced for consoles. What do you think about WoW on console for some of the challenges that you think we'll encounter with consoles versus PC? A few things that they think of are add-on support, pre-filled chat systems like the UI items that let you respond to stuff, selecting items, customizable items, usable in WoW Classic, targeting, ground AoE targeting, improved UI, visual indicators, and all of this stuff. So these are all just kind of like a few issues. But so this is from Barry. So thank you, Barry. Thank you for sending in that question.
Thanks, Barry.
So what do you guys do? You think that WoW on consoles is something that we might see in the future?
I have one question for you guys. Have you guys played Diablo 3 on consoles?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I did, but very like it was a long time ago, and it wasn't very long.
Yeah.
How did that feel when you did play?
Better than the PC version. I don't know if that's a hot take.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Better than the PC version for a variety of reasons. They made some changes to adapt that sort of twin stick shooter feeling to it. Gotcha. And D3 feels, at least to me, feels very arcadey, and it just seamlessly rolled into that. The controls were way smoother than you would have thought. There were a couple of things like loot might have been weird here and there, right? But like interacting with loot, in your inventory, that type of thing. But I feel like they solved a fair amount of problems, and I feel like when that launched, I was surprised at how much better it just felt to play on console versus PC. Admittedly, that was tainted a little bit because I had not played D3 for a while, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
that type of yada yada that I'm not gonna dwell on. but I feel like it was better, and that actually segues very very neatly into my point, or rather, like, how I would answer the question. When Diablo 3 launched in consoles and it felt good, it's because they put the groundwork of a few key elements, right, to make it feel that way when it launched. I think that groundwork is already done in WoW. Well, not all of it, but mostly.
Okay.
Think about it. Think about the UI changes, controller support. We just got pings.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
These are all things that to us were like, neat, we'll use it, fine, whatever. But think about it on a console. It's that revolution. Yes, that revolutionizes it. And they've started integrating more add-on style things, like the quests are just more add-on I don't know how to say that, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's just I feel like they've actually already, without anybody noticing, or with a lot of people being like, "Oh, that's weird," they've laid some groundwork. I think it's likely. I think it's very likely. I think it was something that maybe they didn't realize was on the cards. They just started to make some changes to just quality of life stuff, and then the acquisition kind of reared its head, and they were like, "Wait a minute, we could take this in that direction."
Yeah,
I think it's likely. I really do. There are a lot of challenges, and there's some that I have no clue how to solve. Right? Thank God. Right? Armchair development doesn't have to be me.
Right.
Hey.
But I think it's likely. Yeah.
That's fair. I didn't. I had, before I asked you the question of D3, I would have said I think it would be kind of difficult, and honestly, you'd have to be in the same world. So you're playing up against somebody who has a supercharged PC, so they would have to make sure and deal with like the performance side of things. But I would have initially said no, because there's like, WoW is just an absorbently large game. It's like 300 gigabytes now.
Yeah.
But after you said that, you are completely right. They've been slowly putting little things, and in Dragonflight, not so just little things, like with the UI updates, how you interact with your world updates, more customizations, the pings that they can be added in the game, and those are just little things that for us, why do I need to ping when I can talk to you? Or why do I need to ping when I can type to you? But if you're on like console, you want to ping. You want to be able to get that information to your group fast.
Think about this. They added a whole keybind to interact with something. But why do we on PC necessarily need an interact key? We already just right click on it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's been useful sometimes, when you're trying to click on something dumb under a corpse or whatever. But you know who could use that? Console.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is completely right.
I definitely agree. I think that it could be in the future, and it's funny when Barry first brought this up, and I was like, "Hey, submit it to the podcast. We're gonna be doing that soon." When he was first talking to it, he was like, I think that there'll be a lot of issues because of because a lot of people. He immediately was like, well, if they do this, then there will be a lot of people that if they try to do high-end content, then they're going to be at like a disadvantage because of stuff like DBM. And my counter argument was, I don't know what the numbers are actually like for like the differential between people who do high-end, and we're talking like high-end content. Like, I mean, I'm thinking like anything AOTC above. If you're doing KSM and AOTC and anything above that, I think of that as like high-end content. Everything else is just casual content. But I was like, but I think that there are definitely people who log in and play every day, and they run around and collect pets, and that's their whole WoW aesthetic and mentality. And that's I'm not disparaging that at all. Like, play the game the way you want to play it. But I think that there's more than enough people who are playing the game who aren't even using DBM because they're not running dungeons. And there's going to be even more people that They could just play around on a console like they're running around in Breath of the Wild. Absolutely, they're gonna
Yep.
they're gonna do that. They're gonna. I find that there's a larger gamer base of like casual players than a lot of people realize. And I think that they would really enjoy just playing WoW on an Xbox and just hanging out and like and just like chilling, like just sitting on your couch, really. Like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
just hang out.
that's the main appeal for me. What if I could do my gold dailies
Right.
on my couch?
My dogs would definitely love it if I sat on the couch and played versus sitting in here.
Mhm.
They like, for example, I don't know if you guys have heard throughout this entire podcast, but they've been going crazy at my door over here because they don't like that door to be shut. If there's nothing like, they won't come in here and mess with me, nothing. They just don't like the door shut. So having me sitting on the couch, going out and looking for pets like Zaf said, or going and farming the mount rares that aren't gonna drop, that sort of thing. Like that, they would love that. But I definitely see your point, and I definitely think that could be a good possibility. And even if it isn't gonna be something that will happen, they're putting things in the game to try it.
Yeah.
Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's like an opt-in thing where you can try it out type thing. Who knows?
I feel like it's likely. If not this BlizzCon, I feel like they're working at it. I really do.
Yeah. And maybe that's a full expansion thing away. Maybe that's something they talk about at BlizzCon. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. We should do like some sort of BlizzCon watch party. I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know about you guys, but I guess depends on.
I
work. Yeah.
That nasty W word.
Real
Never
life.
mind.
And then I have all of Saturday off. I took Saturday off, but that's because I'm going to Rhode Island Comic Con.
You're like, I got my own con going on.
My own thing going
first
on.
part of BlizzCon's Friday, right? Or no?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like the opening events.
Either way, yeah.
I think most of the WoW. I'm assuming they're going to have some sort of like WoW little taste right at the beginning to kind of kick things off. That'd definitely be smart. I've never actually watched the full thing at BlizzCon, so maybe this year.
It's fun.
I will.
It's good.
Yeah.
So, I'll have to definitely give it a go, and then that'll give us more information to talk about on the next podcast.
Some of the stuff that you think is gonna be like, whatever. Like I remember one of the panels they had the last time they had a lot of the voice actors from like Blomsandi and Denathrius and a lot of the
That was so cool.
And they made them do lines in each other's voices. That was pretty fun. So like Sire and Anthony doing Blomsandi lines, something like that. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of panels that you're like, maybe I won't watch this, and then you end up watching it, and it's interesting.
I think more and more have appreciated, not that I never did, but appreciated voice acting. Because think about your favorite character. They may have a very iconic voice, but they, like, for example, the guy who plays voices Mimron and Professor Putricide and all these characters, very similar voice for most of these characters, but so iconic in their own regards. And that takes talent to literally use like a very similar voice, but there's no mistake on which character
for sure
they're playing. And
it's definitely an art.
Man, now you got me hoping that they're going to have a voice acting thing.
They might. I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule.
I'll have to check.
Check out.
You know what thing I just realized? Yeah, one thing I just realized about BlizzCon that actually trumps anything else that I've said about what I expect at BlizzCon. I was just thinking about this. Where are we on the roadmap that they showed? Because I
thought about that.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the year.
Yeah.
I thought that there was a 10-3 on that original one. I thought there was. Maybe that's just me, Mandela affecting. But I thought there was a 10-3 on there.
I think I'm there with you because I think it was 10-2 Season 3, and I think I conflated it to 10-3 as well.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Zaft.
I was gonna say, I was like, if they at one point posted something that said 10-3 and now they're not, there would be 10,000.
Yeah.
That's
he's
true.
right. Yeah,
that's
he's right.
that's definitely true.
There would be so many people being like, "What happened to 10-3?
Yeah.
The secret 10-3 disaster."
I think
Man, that's what the next podcast clickbait name's going to be.
I think if that roadmap was killing it. They killed it with that roadmap. They gave us some goals and they met all of them, probably. I'd have to check, but pretty darn close to it.
Yeah, if they missed something, it was like one or two things.
I think if they want windmill slam dunk in BlizzCon, put out another roadmap, whatever 10-3 or Fated season comes out, and then maybe include like into the next expansion and keep to it the same. And I think that alone is a big win for BlizzCon. I'd love to see that.
I'm looking at, this is the Dragonflight in 2023, the road ahead. This was posted the 21st of December 2022. 10.05 had Trading Post, Primalist Tomorrow, White and Gray Transmogs. These are all like the listed things, which we got. Then it was in the spring, Return to the Forbidden Reach, Human and Orc Heritage Armor, and holiday updates. We got those. Season 2 with patch 10.1, new zone, new raid, new PvP season, new mythic dungeon pool, professions update, user interface improvement. I'm pretty sure we got all those. Yeah. I mean, we got the pings. I don't know what profession updates. I don't know. It's hard because I'm like an engineer. My profession doesn't get updated.
They gave us more. Yeah, that's right.
It gets updated at the beginning of every expansion. That's it.
I don't know. I'm gonna have you upgrade those wrists you made me.
This is the most crafting I think I've ever done as an engineer. I'm not kidding at all. Like, this is the most I've ever done. So the summer was the mega dungeon, world events, and content system updates. Again, this was posted in December, and some of these are like vague, right? Like world events. Yeah. But like, I mean, they're hitting the thing. Like, they're hitting the plot points. So that's 10.15. 10.17 was story quests, holiday refresh, and content and system updates. So again, very, very vague. But then it was season 3 with a new zone, new raid, new dungeon pool, and additional content and features. Again, that's just the one from December. So that's been pretty close.
I think you're absolutely right. If they can put another roadmap out there, and maybe it's not just a WoW roadmap either. Like, put some of these like retail roadmap. So maybe you try to do some roadmaps for other games. It's clearly worked. Yeah, exactly.
Oof, good stuff.
I definitely think that would continue.
If they put out a roadmap for Overwatch 2, it would really revitalize that game.
Yeah. Right. The problem is that roadmap looks like a financial report spiking downwards. So.
Well, yeah.
Well, if their end goal is to make more money and sell more 6-month and 12-month subscriptions to World of Warcraft, then they should probably start putting out more roadmaps, because there's a lot of people who are like, I want this, but I don't want to be sub for a year. But if they, I'm not trying to help them make more money. They're making enough that is already.
They don't need it. Don't worry.
But if they were to do that, and they tell you, look, in 3 months you're going to see this, in 6 months you're going to see this.
Yeah, give them some hype for like, hey,
get that hype train going. Yeah,
this is the way to do it, and it's working.
So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and end it here for this. Not a live stream, not a video, but we're actually going to be continuing on with our podcast next time. I have 2 dogs that are very upset at me right now. But I appreciate you both, first off, humoring me in trying out this podcast. I hope it does really well. I hope that you guys that are checking it out at home, I hope you guys get something out of it. Like, this is really just a conversation between 3 friends that live in completely different areas of the world and have the common goal of wanting to log into our characters and enjoy a game and enjoy it with others. So if that is you, consider subscribing to my channel here, as I got a bug flying in my face. And check out the email link that'll be down below. Send us an email if you guys have questions. Honestly, I'm treating the podcast the same way as I treat my Discord, as I treat my YouTube channel. Duh, it's on the YouTube channel, but still, like, there is no dumb questions. Have a conversation with us. Like, have good conversations. That's only good things can happen.
Any question we'll take, anything from very specific stuff that's coming up to just basic questions about the game. Maybe you're new to WoW. Between I think the three of us, we have like 40 years of WoW experience.
The craziest thing, I'm the one who has the least number of years, which is crazy to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No. Am I the old man Zeft?
What?
Am I the old man Zeft? When
You've
did you
been
start?
around 2005.
Yeah, but when?
Oh, it was before school started that year.
Because I didn't start in vanilla right away.
Neither did I. So I want to say the summer of 2005. But like early in the summer.
Yeah.
So
maybe
May.
You guys have almost 3 years on me.
Oh god.
Because I started in
Old.
February. No wait, February 2007 is when I started.
I think I got in before the next patch.
I got WoW for a Valentine's gift. Yeah.
That's funny. Happy Valentine's. Get away from me.
Go
play on your computer.
Maybe speaking of Valentine's, maybe this will be the year I get my love rocket. I can only hope. But with that, we're gonna go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and yeah, we will see you guys next time.
Thanks for hanging out. See you in the next one.
Thank you. Bye.